everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Of course, we will continue the conversation today about who else is looking for a home in Detroit. Could it be Quinn Hughes? This will be a third straight episode, I think we're talking about that. I've got trade proposals already in the comments. Performance art thrown out there. Mo for president, 1000%. Let's go. Let's do it. What do we got? Can we do this? Can we end this little guy? There we go. There's Mo. Look at that. Look at that. We'll take a quick look at Jim's trade proposal here. Danielson, Albert Johansson, Rasmussen. I don't think they want that. 2026 unprotected first round pick and left wing Max Plant. He throws in there Kosa or Augustine as well. Jim, this is this is the type of thing like when Elliotte Friedman says that there is no other team that can compete with the Red Wings right now on the load that they can offer for Quinn Hughes. I think this is it. And Jim throws in there, will Steve pull the trigger? We have a lot of what the Canucks are looking for. And going back to that proposal, Jim, I'm going to give you an A+. I'm going to give you an A+ for volume here, because a lot of people, they're going to be scared of this volume. They're going to be like, no, how could you do that? I'd rather not have one of the top two defensemen in the league, potentially number 3 if we have, number 1 on our team. But I hear a little one crying outside the door. Hopefully it's not too loud in here. But Jim, you're on the right path, because here we go. We're gonna get into it, because T Master P, there we go. Thrown in there a good day. I had to take a second there. Sorry, T Master P. I know we've had you on here before. He throws in there no Plant. He also says no Asp. So that's where my head goes, that they might want something in that realm, especially if they're losing a Quinn Hughes. But I don't know. Are we dropping Edmondson? Jim throws in there, the Canucks will not get Edmondson, hopefully not Asp. Is there a reason why we can't do Edmondson? How come that's not a part of the conversation? I mean, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. Come on. Why not? You're upgrading in different spots. Give him an Ed. All right, I'm gonna text me or Mono, see what's going on. But yeah, we'll continue this conversation. I think we got to look at a couple of things too that happened in Vancouver as well, because we got a shutout for Mr. John Gibson. We had an amazing, and I want to take a look at the replay, but we had an amazing play that I want to highlight. I don't know if you guys can guess who I'm talking about. Podcast listeners, it stinks. You got to come to YouTube so you can watch the highlight with us. But we're going to watch some great highlights. And I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't Simon Edmondson. So I still see in the chat, you guys are like, come on, don't get rid of Ed. T Master P throws in there chemistry. Moritz Seider is so good, he couldn't possibly figure out chemistry with another defenseman. Sorry, I'm teasing. I know what you mean. Look, I'm not trying to get rid of Edmondson. I'm just playing this game like I don't think Edmondson is going to touch the level of production and dominance that Quinn Hughes has, can, and will continue to show. I don't think that means Edmondson's bad. That's okay. Plus, I want to be kind of excited too. Now, let me throw this out there. I don't want anybody to misinterpret. As many of those guys that we're talking about are like the don't touch them's. Obviously, I want to keep as many of them as possible, because we're trying to say like this team is close. A day ago, we were on top of the division, and now we can start talking about where we're at in the standings. Maybe I should blow this up a little bit, huh? But you can see we're third place right now. And subtracting from this roster, as well as adding, but subtracting isn't really going to help us get in that position to be dominant in this division. But I think as many times as we've talked these last few years about how bringing on a potential player, like a single player, is not going to solve all of our problems. You do have potential right now to elevate this team to a point to maybe dominate this division, because this division just looks like hogwash at this point. Everybody's kind of like stuck in the middle, but there's an opportunity for somebody to stand out. And for the first time since this show has exists, you can add the Red Wings to that list. Dan B throws out there, they're going to want a D-man back. Hate to see Ed go, but that's kind of where my head's at, Dan B. I mean, guys, if we want to have fun, and we want to, not that I'm saying you guys aren't having fun, but if we want to have fun, we want to do one of these moves that is like giving us a superstar, and you don't even want to have the conversation about like, this is going to affect us for years. Because really, we were thinking like a year and a half, right? And then he goes off to New Jersey. but you have a ton of room here. We'll get deeper into it. There's so many people that have given us thoughts about this Quinn Hughes trade. I want to keep getting your guys' thoughts. I'm not poo-pooing anything. Jib throws out there, who's on your second pair if Simon gets traded? Hey, you know what? You have some potential here, guys. And this is the fun part. When Quinn Hughes is out there for the Canucks, they're dominant. When Seider's out there for the Wingdings, we'll talk about this in a second, and some of that MVP talk that he got from Iyer Prashanth this week, he's dominant. Is there a reason that those two absolutely have to be on the first line together? Or can we take some of the pressure off both of them and build like two dominant lines? Two dominant pairings, I mean? Throwing that out there. I mean, I know Quinn's not on the team. We want to save that conversation for when Steve actually pulls the trigger. But isn't that possible? Am I crazy? Like, we're going to sit here, and I love Jim's question. Like, but who's to say like a Quinn Asp line or pairing isn't possible here? There's some chemistry with Ben Sherratt, and I really liked when Albert Johansson got a shot on the first pair too. So just throw it out there. There's some options. There are some options. I think you have less options if Asp is a part of that trade, just to throw that part out there too. I don't love the left side of the defense, but it's a short list of what I do love about this defense. So I'm not holding too tight onto anything, but I kind of like the idea of a Quinn Hughes Asp line, if I may. Team Master P, good point. I think that was the Simon gets traded. Simon, if not traded, would be the second pair D. Performance art. Edmondson, Albert, NBM. What are we doing? What are we doing here, performance art? What is that? What are you doing? All right. Corey Eisel. I think it would be better to hold on to Ed and Asp and lose one of Casper or Danielson. I keep hearing they want centers, and those two are sort of redundant. Corey, 100%. I do think that there's going to be a part of the conversation, a defenseman. I don't know how deep or how far you could pull back into the prospect side of things, because if they're blowing it up, I don't think that they're really helping their cause right now by making sure that they're pulling in another guy who isn't, another like early prospect, another draft pick. Like, I feel like why aren't they having more conversations in that realm? But no, Corey, I think you're right. I'd rather get one of those two. I feel like redundancy is a great word there. I think you're talking about a bottom six center is so much easier to find. And if you're going to keep one of Danielson or Casper, one of them could eventually elevate themselves into that top 6. And I think the more that you shore up, this defensive core, the more opportunities you're going to have top to bottom, especially, I mean, let's not pretend like we're just talking about bringing in a replacement for like a defenseman. Let's keep reminding ourselves. This is a guy year in and year out, despite being surrounded by absolute garbage. Here, I'll restart this comment now that Mike's here. Don't forget that this guy year in and year out, there he goes, despite being surrounded by absolute garbage, is still in the Norris conversation every year. So, performance art, he'd come pretty close to solving all our problems. You don't give up the farm for 1.5 years. Stevie Y would need a verbal commitment from him for an extension. Or do you flip him to New Jersey later? Well, we're going to talk about why this makes sense. Stevie Y, WHY, if anybody wants to find Stevie on YouTube. I think you're hitting on some points here that also include the idea that you could flip him. You're not like in this year and a half, like let's say things don't work out right away. We saw last year how Mikko Rantanen got thrown around. Those options are still out there. But Stevie, here's the problem. Every single name we've thrown out there, they are not at Quinn Hughes level. I just am looking at the free agents that are available. You kind of look at how everybody gets signed. You're not really looking at guys at trade deadline that are going to be exciting to move or to see move or to see become available as exciting as Quinn Hughes. This is the conversation of, are you a GM that takes risks? Are you a GM that thinks that you can convince Quinn Hughes to stay? Because you know what Quinn Hughes wants? He wants to win. All these guys want to win. If New Jersey's going to blow it again this year, somebody painted the picture. I think it was Jeff Merrick this past week. And he's like, think about what if Detroit and New Jersey see each other in the playoffs and Detroit takes out New Jersey? Like, where's Quinn's head at that point? Oh, he just took them out. There are those things that those variables that we don't even know exist yet that are going to affect Quinn Hughes and his decision. So I'm just throwing out there. I think the 1.5 years, it's plenty of time. That's plenty of time to have fun with Quinn. We'll probably hesitate a wee bit before we buy a jersey, but that's a huge name. And if we're able to land something like that and get to play this game for 1.5 years of, playing the will he, won't he game is what we're going to be doing. Same thing Vancouver fans have been doing. But we get to play that game. That is so much more fun than looking at a prospect list, as we've been doing now for 9 years, and saying, wow, it'd be really great if one of these guys became Quinn Hughes. It's almost like, Steve, I'll compare it to the better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. That's where my head's at. I want to see the superstar on the team, see what happens. All right, let's keep on rolling, right? I saw Mike for a little bit. He was here. He's having technical difficulties. I'm going to text him back. I'm going to say, no worries. We'll keep you guys updated. No worries. Send him a kissy face emoji. Where's the kissy face? And then I'll throw in there, let me know. Let me know if you need some help. Let me know if you need some help. See, because this is what good brothers do, guys. Good brothers help each other out. And who's to say Jack and Luke aren't going to come to Detroit? Just throw that out there. Why not? All right. So anyway, I'm kidding. Hey, I mentioned it. We got a shutout from John Gibson, guys. Everything flipped. Look at it. We got wildly outshot in Vancouver, 37 shots to 20 shots, and we won 4-0. We'll come back to Quinn. I mean, we're not going to get too far from the Quinn Hughes conversation because we won in Vancouver. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really thought Tuesday would be we'd be chewing on the news story that Quinn got traded to Detroit. But look, this is the NHL. What's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Because this is the NHL. There he is. You know what's going to happen? Quinn Hughes is going to sign a 7-year deal with Vancouver at the end of the year. And we're all just going to be like, wow, that was dumb. So,
man, it's we're sticking positive already, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to talk about this 4-0 win. And the reason I bring up, what's dumb about the NHL is that Quinn will just end up signing with Vancouver, is that we still have a team to talk about, Mike. We still have a team that won 4-0. We flipped the script, Mike. I'm defining this game as a flip of the script because we have been outchancing our opponent for the longest time. We have been at the bottom of the PDO list. Our puck luck, apparently, is the second worst in the league for a majority of the season. We're still like bottom 5 right now after these last few games. But, Mike, we flipped the script. We had that, what is it, like a 16% shooting percentage this game. Mike, what's the save percentage? 0 goals on 37 shots. What's that again?
Is that 0%? No, it's 100%.
Right. So
this was a late game for old Grandpa over here. And so I was really dialed in for the first period, and it looked pretty bleak. The Red Wings were just getting thoroughly outclassed, energy-wise, shot-wise, chance-wise, and Gibson, my God, something he hasn't done in years, Matt. He played so well. He got that 100% save percentage. And there's already some comments coming in about him carrying the whole game. I mean, scoring 4 goals, right? It's harder to lose when you get some offense on the board, but yeah, this was much needed. This was one of those games where we're convinced that these guys do listen to Red Wings Rant and all the grief that we gave Gibson just last week about him making our team crater. Giving up more goals than he, expected. Where would this team be if they were just average in that statistic? And yeah, he really showed out, and it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a super easy game. It felt like the Canucks did give a hoot. It almost looked like they were auditioning to be Red Wings, but it was an impressive showing. I thought that Gibson really stood on his head. And lifted this team, and it felt like everybody kind of elevated with him. He kind of put the whole team on his back, and then we got a couple goals there, so it felt pretty good.
Yeah, well, I do want to touch on Corey's thought here, because this is like Corey says, I don't feel bad about the PDO flip. They've earned the turnaround. All right, you know what? When I was putting these notes together, I used the word owed. We were owed this game. We were owed like domination from our opponent, but we still win, and we win in a convincing fashion. I thought was funny too. The Vancouver beat writer for The Athletic. These poor Vancouver fans apparently are just so beat down right now that they didn't even boo during this game. Apparently, they just walked out quietly. He's like, it felt like a funeral. Like it was just like,
oh,
all right, we're out of here. But real quick, let's call out JVR. 6 goals in his last 7 games played. This is insane for JVR. He just seems to be in the right spot at the right time. Axel creating those high danger chances. Obviously, I'm talking about.
Can we stick with JVR for a sec?
Yeah.
Just I love. I bought the Patrick Kane jersey. Matt, I know you've fetishized Sweet Baby Ray. For years now with the stylistic goals.
Yeah.
And JVR just keeps scoring those, little stinkers right around the net. The ones that we get super jealous when other teams score them on us.
It's a mix.
JVR's
had a couple in there where you're like, holy mackerel. How far is he going to have to stretch that back tonight, you old man?
All right. Like, he's a limber old man. He is a limber old man, but I just want to give him credit for some stinkers.
Yeah. No,
dirt ball goals. Dirt ball goals.
Yeah, like cleaning up the garbage, just like the Mighty Ducks in the 1990 whatever film. But,
opportunistic, yeah.
The one thing I don't want to ignore, Danielson, Kasper, and Soderblom, when they were on the ice, owned the puck for 80% of the time. And Mike, I want to look at this highlight because this is And I used Soderblom here because I felt like this is where the game got out of hand. This is where we won the game and it was over because everything just kind of slowed down and Vancouver kind of gave up. But what I'm going to show here is Soderblom doing what I think he should be doing for the rest of his career, I would say. But this is our boy using his body, Mike, to his advantage. Like, I mean, look at that. Like, this lifting of the stick and the steel. This doesn't happen for anybody else in the league except for Tage Thompson. And you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about our wingspan here. All right. Yeah. So Soderblom gets the puck back. For the life of me, I feel like once a year we talk about this with Rasmussen, but look at it. He's just owning the puck. It's just, this was all Soderblom keeping this play going. I mean, let's not forget that he's the one who stole the puck to get this play started. But
right.
and the tragedy of it all, Kasper and Axel get the assists on Danielson's tip in. So no credit for Soderblom, but 100% this goal is because of Elmer and that effort he put in there. This is the type of thing he needs to be doing the rest of his career, and we don't see enough of it. And I got to give the shout out because, like you always say, like once we mention something on this show, it seems to become a staple. And so I'm hoping Elmer sees this, Mike, and he can turn this around because that to me was the highlight of the night. I don't care what anybody says. There's the great pass from Axel over to Kopp as well. That was really great. I do want to talk about too. Like this is that difference of like creating those high danger chances. We owned high danger chances in this game. This is how this is happening. Like with Asp performing, with Danielson, Kasper, Soderblom owning the puck for 80% of their on ice time. That's how we get her done. So I don't care, like Canucks wildly outshoot us. The most important one we owned, and of course the actual numbers we owned too, but I don't think we're gonna go forward and ask Gibson for another shutout. I don't think we can. I think this is it, guys. But yeah, like this is the type of thing where you kind of turn around and you're like, how in God's name did we get outshot like this and win 4-0? Or how do we get 4 goals up there? Well, one of them's an empty netter, but you had to get it up to 3. And to get it up to 3, you needed that shift from Soderblom. And it's like, that's how you extend this roster, this lineup. Got to do it that way.
Yeah.
Great point by Jim.
I think it's
gets his first assist of the year. Whew.
Oh yeah, that was pretty
yuck.
Weird. It's taken this long. No, it's like I think the same thing for Soderblom. Similar concern with Gibson, right? Where it's like, I don't need you to do it every game, right? Is a shutout every single game feasible, reasonable? No. Soderblom scoring every game? No, that's fine. I need to know that it's within the realm of possibility. And Gibson still having that ability to, be a number 1 goalie and look like it for a night against a team that looked like it was trying. It makes you feel better about, not just that game, but this season and him as a player. Same with Soderblom. We've gotten burned on Rasmussen where we feel like, you ever have that tall friend and you're like, man, you never played basketball or volleyball? Man, what a waste of height. It was the same thing with Soderblom. It's like, dude, you're like, 250 pounds, you're 6'8", and you're much quicker on your feet than you should be for a, giant man like that. What do you got for us on the ice? And so it's just kind of encouraging to feel like, hey, maybe this is something we can kind of grow with, something we can expand on and see it a little more consistently game to game. So it's, 2 guys kind of in the same bucket, showing out against, I will say, not a good Vancouver team, but, a motivated Vancouver team. How about that?
Yeah, they looked motivated. They threw the puck at the net. It was nice. Okay, so back to the other part of the Vancouver story. Elliotte Friedman throws out this line. If Vancouver or Detroit wanted to make a deal, there is a deal to be made. Defining it as Detroit firmly involved in the Quinn Hughes talks. Talks have happened. Momentum is real. So we talked. This is the third straight week we're talking about this Quinn Hughes stuff. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We were like, man, if we're in like the mouths of insiders, like that's exciting because it's been a while. Yesterday we were at the top of the Atlantic Division. Obviously, we skipped and hopped a couple ways down to third place, but there is, Mike, there is a team here that could be built that kind of takes over in this division, and it's not done with like being crafty and filling out your bottom six. It happens with a Quinn Hughes. This list has been was put together through Max Boltman and then the Vancouver beat writer. I can't remember his name, but I think he's on the next slide.
Yeah.
Transforming the blue line, you get a top 10 NHL skater. Could pair with Seider. We talked about earlier, like why not do Quinn Hughes and Asp and let Seider dominate on his line. And obviously accelerates the playoff timeline. And I took this picture that was being shared on X. We are minus 27 goal differential without Seider on the ice at 5-on-5. Worst in NHL removing a single player. Worst in NHL in all situations.
Can we send this to the end of season voters? Maybe get this guy an MVP?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
How about just like a top 10? Just the top 10 MVP vote.
It's definitely well, it's gonna come up in a couple slides here because we're gonna show off Prashanth Iyer's article about making the MVP case for Moritz Seider. But before we get there, it's just one of those things where it's like you could automatically become like the horror show for every opponent when it comes to defense, controlling the puck on the blue line, taking over games. Like this is like franchise altering. And the problem, as everybody's pointed out, is it could possibly be just for a year and a half, but I don't know. There's nobody on this team besides Mo Seider right now that I look at and I say that is Quinn Hughes level quality right there. So there's almost nobody that you're going to give up that Vancouver is going to replace Quinn Hughes with. And right there, you kind of feel like whoever ends up with Quinn Hughes is the winner of that trade. So we had some volume heavy trade offers out there earlier in the show, Mike, but
this is just a fascinating exploration. Because I think it's one thing for, people doing podcasts to talk about, trade movement, but, for the national insiders to kind of be like, yeah, there's some actual smoke here. Like both teams have, a want that the other team desires, you know what I mean? So draft picks and a bundle of prospects, and then finally, somebody who could kind of maybe get you into the dance because they're that good of an upper echelon talent, and it's somebody now for some maybe tomorrows. So I think if you want to feel better about it, it's not just Matt and I talking about it. Again, it is the national guys talking about it. There's so much smoke. I was stunned to hear Ken Daniels and Mickey actually talk about it, and they were gushing about how well Hughes was playing, as if they were, hey, this is going to look great in red and white next week. These are. I don't think you can accuse commentary teams of tampering, but it really is fascinating to see that it feels this real. It's this close to being something that comes into fruition. I'm still not going to get my hopes up. I know how much Steve likes to hoard guys that he's handpicked, but man, would that be a huge get.
And maybe he's been hoarding them for this. I would say this is worth it. A super duper star. All right.
Or real quick too, before you get into the financials, I saw, you mentioned that concern about, what if you only get him for a year and a half? It's just, you could see, I think we talked about it an episode or two ago. You can be a Carolina, and the only way to really get in the Ferrari business is to have a Ferrari. This would be picking up a Ferrari. So even if you don't end up keeping it, now you have this giant asset that you can move around for other really cool stuff. You know what I mean? So you can have this too. He's like, I'm so sorry. This was a great time in Detroit. I really like Coney dogs and deep dish, but I really want to go to New Jersey and meet Snooki. So I'm sorry. You're going to want to move me to the Devils. And you can get a bundle of stuff from them. But you can't really get into those kind of like big talks, with big teams, with big players until you have one. So this is kind of a way to get your foot in the door. So even if the guy just, Steve, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking a chance. I don't want to stay here. I have my own personal interests. Great. We'll still find a way to try and move you around.
I would throw out there too. Larkin's not getting any younger, and there aren't going to be a lot of options out there that are going to help you utilize this perfect age that Larkin's at. Like, he's at that point where you're going to get the most production out of him. And if you guys are like, it's just one of those things. It's like, what's the trade-off? And I know a lot of people would prefer the trade-off was, let's just be patient and wait till we're all dead to see this team turn things around. But there's a here and a now. There's a Dylan Larkin you can make happy. There's a, there's, you know what? There's a revenue stream and the potential from a playoff run that I'm sure Chris Ilitch would love to have in his back pocket. So there's also an owner who's probably like, there's a guy with Michigan ties that will get people to buy more jerseys, and we'll get maybe 3 more playoff games.
We got McClellan, and there was the new coach bump. Can you imagine the bump of superstar acquisition bump?
Right.
Like for the dudes who've been here for years, just kind of toiling and, we're putting out a good effort tonight. Now it's like Larkin has this giant gorilla off of his back. Where he's like, man, it looks like we're trying to play to win. Let's go.
This is it. Yeah. This is the point. You nailed it. That is it. How many, Larkin and the Yzerman back and forth at the end of last season, like, hey, nothing happened again at the trade deadline, so I guess my team sucks. Yeah. Like, this is that moment where Steve says, like, all right, let's try and make something happen here, boys. Like, and you can, you can be mad at Larkin and just be like, sitting on your couch eating a bag of Cheetos. I can't believe that guy doesn't give 110% every night. Like, I pound this bag of Cheetos and open up my next one like nobody's business. I do 110% of my Cheeto bags every night. Larkin should be at 110%. So we know that's not humanly possible. Nobody does that. No human on earth. No NHL player, no NFL player, no NBA player, no Major League Baseball. I don't know why I said Major League Baseball and didn't just say MLB.
It sounds more elaborate that way. Yeah.
No musician. No anything. Nobody gives 110% every day at everything they do. But if you give them some reason to believe, and when they've said it themselves, they've said it in a press conference. They've said, it'd be great. What would make me care again, Steve? Some better talent on this team, not just the same team over and over. When your captain says that, that might be a message less for everyone to dissect as like, Larkin, he's got to give 110% of it. No, it's a message for Steve Yzerman. It's not a message for us to dissect and worry about his effort. Go ahead.
Is there a chance that Steve is, was it season 5 of Mad Men? And, he just tells him like, Peggy, that's what the money's for. That's how I show you my appreciation for you, Dylan. But it only goes so far. Like for these guys to play pretty well and then get to the week of the trade deadline, playing like they're looking up in the rafters, wondering, oh God, what does Steve think of us now? And then emotionally, you can see the weight of it every year where they're just like, I guess we weren't good enough for Mr. Yzerman again. I guess we'll toil around at the bottom, but not quite at the bottom. That could be gone. That emotional burden could just be lifted, completely lifted. With a not a pretty good player. Hey, we were buyers this year. We got a good third defenseman. No, you are arguably trading for your best player.
Now,
arguably.
Jared throws out there, Aiden Hutchinson gives 110% every play. Jared, I can tell you from a conversation,
first-hand experience,
from first-hand conversation with Aiden Hutchinson yesterday, he said, when this team isn't flowing, when we don't have that, he just kept calling it that flow. Like the guys kind of lose it. Like he's just like, when there isn't that connection from top to bottom, like we know we're pretty much going to lose a game, like in the third quarter. Like we can just sort of feel it, which is just like, what? But this is Aiden Hutchinson talking about effort level and that, it leading from like the flow, the chemistry. Now, he did also say, for all you Lions fans out there, when I talked to him yesterday, mind you, it was at a work thing and there were another 200 people there. So it wasn't just me and Aiden.
Yeah.
He did say he thinks they got that flow back. But that was very revealing for Aiden. That was something from his mouth. He's saying like, no, it's about having that team flow. And this is the kind of thing we're talking about with Dylan Larkin. So Jared, you could find some rocks outside and kick them.
Wow.
Go kick some rocks, because me and my best friend, Aiden Hutchinson, who joined, you guys, feel free, join the Discord. I shared the first pictures. Aiden and I are best friends now. I shared the first
Jared
pictures
wants to make sure. Did you get them digits?
Well, I tried.
Did you really?
Yeah. Hey, buddy. What's up?
Hey.
I tried to do a selfie, actually, and my phone got taken away from me till I was done taking pictures with Aiden.
An understandable confiscation. I agree with security's choice on that one. But no, I really like a few of the comments here, because I don't want to hammer like giving 110% necessarily from Larkin. It's just that, man, every year feeling like, well, I guess it's another year where we learned something, but don't get to play for anything big. It's just it wears on you, and to feel like maybe there's a light at the end of this tunnel. That's what I'm really excited about. Eisel was thrown out there. Hughes does spend his summers in Michigan, and I believe his parents and brothers do too.
Yeah,
a better chance than most to re-sign him. Yeah,
you can read it right there, guys.
Can be thrown out. Quinn Hughes or Skubal. You only get one for Christmas.
Well, somebody had a great answer here where it was like, Skubal only plays every 5th game. Quinn Hughes for sure. Yeah, it was Corey. Hughes hands down. Skubal only plays every 5 games.
I mean, we've seen the best of the Tigers with Skubal. Give me Hughes. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I saw that question, I was like, we've seen it. Let's try something else.
Wow, Jared, God bless you. With comment bid of the episode when your phone was confiscated saying, Mike Babcock working security? Man, what a deep cut, Jared. I love it. That's really good.
I feel it. Should I take the second here and pull up that picture to show the size of Aiden Hutchinson? You know what? Go to the Discord. You guys
nobody wants to see that right
Discord.
Now. Yeah. I do want to throw in a few more.
Oh no! Yeah,
more
Jim,
relevant comments here.
To know if he sacked me. That he didn't sack me. I will just say he is a beast of a human being. I don't know how like the difference of 8 inches in our height looks like 2 feet when we take a picture together. It was insane. I would hate to see what I look like.
So Matt's saying is there isn't that much of a difference between him and 8 inches. Got it. So Dan B saying, imagine the roaring fire it would be if Yzerman wasn't such a vault. But I really like Jim. He's coming in hot today, saying we have the assets and the cap room to trade and extend Hughes. It's literally like it's been set up for this, Jim. I mean, the cap sheet's going to be wide open. The roster slot's going to be wide open. If Vancouver's like, listen, we got some guys we kind of want to dump off too. We're just tired of looking at them. Send them on over, man. We got tons of cap space. Bring them right here.
Yeah,
and then T Master P, Matt, just throwing out there. Iserman hasn't made trades, but there hasn't been an opportunity like this until now.
Very true.
I don't think I could push back on that. I think as far as like having the cap flexibility, having the resources to make the trade, and that means prospect wise, draft pick wise, position obviously of need. We have depth guys. What we don't have is, an ace, and this would be it. So T Master, I like it a lot.
Whiskey and Wings throws out there Edmondson and Danielson and picks. I think we're going to be really sad to see Edmondson go, but after that first game, we'll be fine with it. Dixon Seider, 8 inches is a lot. Dixon, I would go as far to say 8 inches is too much. All right, moving on. Dan B throws out there, we'll get Jack Hughes in 2030 when his deal's up with New Jersey.
I like that a lot, Dan.
Sounds like a plan. Jim thrown in there. Let's throw in Hamonic. He's fun. He's got a fun name to try and learn to say.
Just keep stacking up that Grand Rapids team with a bunch of D+ players. I like it.
Yeah, throw Rass in there. Jim's got another one. Now, look, yeah, I mean, the biggest one for me is trading for those rights on Quinn so you can offer him the 7 years over the 6 years, which I think is the adjustment the CBA is making. This $30 million more guaranteed, I'm not. Now that I'm reading that, I feel like I missed the context there because I feel like I can't even explain that. That doesn't make any sense.
This feels like if you've traded for him and he's now under your watch.
Okay.
Right? Without that context of him already being a Red Wing, I don't see how either of these make sense.
I think that number's wrong.
I think you can offer more and you can offer more years, but just saying, well, Detroit has a 1 year advantage over other NHL teams. Just
okay, I'm catching up, but yeah. So I would say it's the 7 years, and then I think you get to play that game like Hughes trains in Michigan, close.
Jared throwing out the same thing: 7 years max if you already have them, 6 max if it's a trade.
No, that was the CBA thing.
Oh yeah. And okay. Jim just throwing out Steve. Are you listening?
I hope so.
Steve, make it happen, Captain.
Harman Dayal's case for Hughes to Detroit, which I also think is important to remember. All of these things. Like, it's one thing for us to be like, to try and justify the trade from like a contract perspective. But like, let's talk about Hughes instantly makes Detroit a playoff team. We can break the 9-year drought and get millions in playoff revenue. Obviously, I've mentioned Chris Ilitch earlier. Nobody wants to make Chris Ilitch happy. But you know what? You make him happy every time you guys go to a Red Wings game because you put more money in his pocket. How about that? Detroit can outbid every team long term. And even if Hughes walks, I like this one. Detroit could trade him again for a haul. So, I feel like Carolina set the stage. Start your negotiations early. Bring in the superstars because you're not gonna get a Quinn Hughes to sign in free agency. You're gonna get a guy that's gonna sign Quinn Hughes money in free agency and make you look like a fool. You'll get that to happen for sure. But this is your chance to bring in a superstar, and if it doesn't work out, you got another option. I think that's huge, and we said it last year, Mike, when the Rantanen stuff was happening. I think T Master P's point, I think it was like that we haven't had a trade like this where we're involved like 100%, and timeline wise, like we could have traded for Mikko Rantanen maybe, but I think now we're even closer. Like now we're proving ourselves, especially with our place in the standings right now. So I just this is it. Everything's kind of lining up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to throw out there another bid for comment of the episode. Compliments to Dan B saying, as mentioned earlier, we could have solved all this with the 2018 draft.
yeah. This. Well, do you have Moritz Seider at this point? Do you have Lucas Raymond? Maybe Kenny knew it had to happen this way. This was Doctor Strange and Tony Stark. Like, Kenny is looking at Stevie Y the next time they're playing the LA Kings. He's looking at him from across the rink. He's just like, gives him that one, this was it. This is what I set up for you. I screwed up. I made myself look like an idiot so that you could trade for Quinn Hughes in 2025.
Matt, Jared throwing out the real question is, does Quinn want to go to New Jersey with the fact every time Jack gets hurt, the team goes in the old poo-poo hole?
That's what I said. I was like, what if he watches what's going on with New Jersey this year, or we get an opportunity to knock out New Jersey? Mike, I mean, what do these guys want more than anything? They want to win.
Oh, winning.
Yeah. They want to win. I mentioned it before, but it was on Jeff Merrick's podcast where he was like, and you mentioned this last week. I think you took it a step further to talk about other players, but when they're thinking about their contracts and they're in those negotiations, like, why is this being talked about with Quinn Hughes? Because the Canucks suck, man. They blow. And they have a lot of talent they wasted. And then they blamed it on, like, behind the scenes conversations that they couldn't find a coach to figure that out. They couldn't ask the players to stop being assholes. So they started blowing up the team. And now they're even worse. And they won't win. They won't win. They can't win. And Quinn wants out. But if you start to win, and you mentioned this too, maybe not just about Quinn Hughes, but if you prove that you're willing to make the moves, like Steve's finally ready to make the moves.
Yeah.
Then you could start bringing in some better talent.
I think it's an interesting time to be, a fan of Vancouver, because this is really smart right now to start, throwing guys out there for trade offers, because this should maximize the value that you could get, where you're not getting a rental for a couple months and then you're probably going to get, reduced picks, prospects that aren't as good. The advertisement is you get a year and a half to try this guy out in your franchise. So we want more stuff. He might go somewhere. He might only want to go play in New Jersey, but this is your chance, to have 18 months with a guy that's good. So, I mean, this is, for them, what they should be doing is floating out, a bidding war. This is a really good player. We do want picks. We do want young guys. And you got to be able to afford them, of course. But it maximizes the effort for both teams, because you get a real tryout with the guy, and Vancouver gets more in the trade back because they're not, forcing you to figure something out in 2 months or 3 months. So I really, even though they're not doing so well, I really do admire that was a good idea. And I think the Red Wings kind of tried a minimal version of this when they were, really in the throes of rebuilding, right? With like the Bertuzzi trade, or the Mantha moves, right? But this is a much bigger deal, I think. A guy who could be a cornerstone defenseman for a decade, as opposed to, guys who play on the wing. This is a big deal. So I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks, even though, as I think Jim reminded us, there's that trade freeze for like 8 days coming up.
Around the holiday period. Christmas? Yeah, you can fire your coaches, but you can't do any trades. How do I know that rule about coaches?
Jim with a late bid for a comment of the episode saying, Matt somehow hasn't brought up EP40 yet. What's going on there?
Dan B thrown out there. Kenny playing 5D chess, taking Sedina. One thing we've talked about a lot this year too is like our ability to own the puck, not able to finish. I'm pulling up Quinn Hughes. Over the last 3 years, he's the top 4% in finishing for all defensemen. Just want to throw that out there.
Ooh, that'll play.
But who'd he be finishing with, Mike? Maybe another reason to call out, like, let's up the ante this year. Let's improve this roster. Moritz Seider. Prashanth Iyer making the MVP case for Moritz Seider. Nearly 60% expected goals for percentage. Crazy numbers for preventing and then putting pucks on net in meaningful meaningful shots on net when he's on the ice.
My favorite stat is the last one of your bullet points, but I'll let you build up to it.
Well, yeah, the top penalty kill, power play time. He's getting, I mean, just the other night, it was like 27 minutes, but he's getting 25 minutes a night. Number 2 in goals above replacement. You know who number 1 is? It's Nathan McKinnon.
Whoa. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, and drives 60% of Detroit goals at 5-on-5. And similar to Quinn Hughes the last couple of years, without him, the team collapses. A minus 27 goal differential off ice, which we mentioned earlier in the show, but certainly cause for some improvements to this team, but also to give Moritz Seider we've got to give him his moment in the sun here. Like, this is happening. This is legit. Like, this could be the thing where Steve's always talking about seeing the team improve, and that's why he doesn't like making Dylan Larkin happy with trades that could improve the team. This could be the type of thing he's waiting to see. Is his first draft pick putting up a performance, producing like an MVP, not just a Norris candidate, but the best player on this team, hands down.
Man, it'd be nice to have a real top pairing for him too, to just like lock it down from the first pair. Even though Edmondson hasn't, he's good, but Seider playing like this is, he's really joining some rare air. So this is play that's so good. I think we've harped on it, or at least referenced it a few times in the last 6 months. That line out of The Office. I wish I knew it was the good old days when we were in the good old days. Like, yeah, start tuning in to Red Wing hockey, because you're in the good old days with Seider right now. Like, you're watching. You have a treat to watch one of the best defensemen, one of the best players in the whole league.
For sure. This is one of those things that for so many reasons this could bode well for us, but it's also getting us into the realm of our, as I talked about before, our numbers in December are improving as 5-on-5 possession numbers. Mike, we were second worst in PDO, fifth worst in save percentage, second worst in shot percentage, despite being positive on expected goals for. But all of those horrible numbers led to our actual goals for percentage being 46.5%, which is not good. That's how you get a negative goal differential, Mike.
Not ideal. Yeah.
December, third best PDO, eighth best save percentage, fourth best high danger save percentage, which is really making the difference here. And then second best shooting percentage at 13%. JVR doing some magic here in the bottom 6, keeping things going. That expected goals for, Mike, dip below 50%. But the actual goals for up to 63%. So the 5-on-5 numbers, I don't know how much we want to sort of poo-poo the 48.1%, but certainly when you get a lead on your opponent, you're going to play back a little bit, and they're going to take advantage volume-wise. So this is somewhat kind of expected, and just don't look at the Colorado Avalanche's numbers, because that's not the case for them. They just dominate every single statistic in the NHL right now, but it can happen. But ultimately here, like this is good, where we're starting to see some scoring top to bottom on this team. Certainly helps to see this goal streak from JVR and those plays like we talked about before with Kasper and Soderblom and Danielson. Like these are some things with our 5-on-5 game. And those more important percentages ticking up just a little bit. Seeing those tick up just a little bit here could be another sign that Steve might be ready to make a move. Just throwing that out there.
I think too, when you have a team that's what's the word? Is it mercurial?
Sure.
Where they're kind of hot and cold.
Like, you could make up whatever word you want to make up.
Oh, I can't wait. Flitterbottom. I think when you have the flitter bottoms and you're the worst of times and then sometimes the best of times. Thanks, Jared, for reminding us all words are truly made up. I feel like that's like an indication that you're a player away. You know what I mean? Like this is the time to kind of turn things around.
Yeah.
God, it just the numbers are pointing in a direction. The cap sheet's pointing in a direction. Our stockpile, our war chest of assets is pointing in a direction. A willing trade partner is pointing us in the right direction. Gibson giving us, the right direction. He's, man, this stuff's really exciting. And it's just so annoying that in another week, if we go 0-3 in our next couple games, how crushed we're going to be. But it'll kind of, fall in lockstep with what we've come to expect from this team so far in the year of our Lord 2025.
Mercurial means having a lively, unpredictable, quick-changing mood or temperament like the Roman god Mercury.
Hey, I'm back. I still remember a few words. Woo! There we go.
All right, so to wrap up, Mike, I think we've said this a bunch of times. It feels like the standings are telling us this. You just told us this based on the numbers. Detroit is inching closer to relevant. You've got Seider. You know what? Elite's not even accurate. And you can get this Detroit team there to be. I don't know how you look at this like Eastern Conference and add Quinn Hughes to this team and not immediately start to underline them. Maybe after we watch a couple games, but I mean, you don't immediately start to underline them as like a huge problem for the rest of the Eastern Conference. I threw it out there. This could be that era-defining moment, and again, it's not about like getting him for that next contract and re-upping. It's about seeing your GM make the huge splash that wasn't a giveaway. Instead, it was a takeaway.
I think you and I, in past years, have been so frustrated watching this team night in, night out that we've just, looked at Steve laying on the sidewalk like a slug and poked him with a stick saying, do something. This is not just a do something move. This is a move that makes sense in so many different facets of professional hockey. And it's not just us being excited about it. It's not just the Red Wings ranters being excited about it. Man, it's out there. The smoke is out there. Please, let's see a Quinn Hughes fire, and let's get a fire going over here, baby. A nice red and white fire. Woo! Man, I'm jazzed. Yeah, I can't wait to be reading more NHL dirt sheets tonight.
8-inch fire coming at you.
Hey, Jim, with the late bid for a comment of the episode saying, I just hope we're not 8 inches short and getting Hughes.
Jim, what a beauty.
NGKHLR with an important question. What are you giving up for the Quinn part? Does he mean trade our side of the trade?
Yeah. Do we want to run through the list?
Look, it's probably going to be a heartbreaking move where if you're getting a player this good, NGKHLR, it's probably going to nauseate you a little bit. It's probably going to be an extra draft pick that you thought, oh man, I had to give up that pick too. It's probably going to be Edmondson or ASP plus Casper or Danielson. And I don't know, maybe somebody who plays at the NHL level with, a little bit of money to try and balance it out a little bit. So I don't know if that means a Rasmussen. I don't know if that means a Cop. I don't know if that means a Comfer, but it kind of feels like that would be the 4 buckets you're pulling from. One of the defensemen you're excited about, one of the centers you're excited about, and then NHL adults.
Woo! Jared's giving up Ed and Ass. Holy mackerel. Jared. Woo.
Bad. Jared. I love it. Delete that comment. Hate it.
All right. I think this is the time too to jump on. Somebody mentioned earlier Max Plant. I really like that. Give him one of those kooky guys like Bushelnikov, who we all seem to love, but everybody else seems to hate. I think Trey Augustine or Sebastian Kosa. I think right now, if you feel really confident about one of those two, this is one you can add add to that list and say goodbye to one of them. And I think we're going to be real sad. I personally think it would be Edvinsson over Asp. And I think that bodes well for us. But, somebody went through the right side defenseman for Vancouver and said they don't need another right side defenseman. And they were actually talking about the New Jersey trade. So I think Asp is safe.
I think let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase this idea. If you are Yzerman and you say, "Hey, we want to make this trade happen," well, I'll give you your pick of the two. Who would Vancouver want to pick? I still feel like they'd want Edvinsson because you can't really get a lot of 6'6" defensemen who can skate like that. So I feel like that's who they'd want.
Yeah.
Although, if they're blowing things up, you got to almost immediately give him a new contract for $8 million a season. So it kind of feels a little redundant to move on from Quinn, and just pick up, I guess, a couple of picks for him.
I will say, we'll put this in stone. We'll put this on a podcast. It's recorded on YouTube. I think this is the hot take. I think if you're talking about two realities, one of them is traded, the other is not. I feel like we would be okay in the long run losing Edvinsson. I think we're going to be kicking ourselves for a long, 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 long time if we get rid of Asp. I think he's going to show off. I think he's going to be a fun defenseman to watch. I think he's going to end up being a top jersey sell. I see it all, especially watch that Vancouver game. My man's creating, and he creates not only high danger chances, but ones that hit the back of the net. So I love Edvinsson. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I think Asp is going to be the one who's those couple of inches. He'll be 8 inches better than Edvinsson, if I may.
Man. So, Zero Sign, how you doing? Good to hear from you. Saying, can you imagine Ed, Quinn, and Seider, though? ASP becomes a little redundant with Hughes. I feel like, okay, I feel like Yzerman would actually be more willing to let ASP go. And I think it's entirely based on the bias around the size of a player. This is another spot where 8 inches matters. I feel like he'd be like, well, I do agree ASP could be a playmaker, but I can't find a lot of 6'6" defensemen who can skate.
Quinn Hughes, doesn't he, he does so well with Hronek, right? Like, isn't that the flip we're making? Like, it seemed to click when they were playing together, Quinn and Hronek.
The other thing, too, I want to throw out there is, as much as we want this trade to happen,
what if the world blows up, guys?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you think that Steve wouldn't budge on trading a defenseman because he feels like, thanks, Jared, Red Wings Rant, the 8-inch podcast. Well, combined, do you feel like I think I broke Matt on that one. Do you feel like Steve's line in the sand? He's like, if there's any way I could give you more picks so I don't have to give up Edvinsson or ASP, what say you? Is there any way that there's a reality where that happens? Oh, I think Matt laughed so hard he unplugged himself. I don't even think he heard my question. Did you unplug yourself? Oh, you got no audio too, Matt. The whole thing's just falling out of your butt there. Dan B thrown out there. Oh no, the pod just went R-rated. Dan B, we've been waiting for someone to notice that for years. We love the old R-rated podcast. We're gonna hit a few comments here. Jim saying you may still need ASP as a second PP quarterback. Jim, I'm on board with you, man. If there's any way Yzerman could really dig in and be like, listen, I'll give you a few extra centers, I'll give you a few extra picks, because it feels like if you had Quinn, you had Edvinsson, you had ASP, you had arguably an MVP of the NHL and Moritz Seider. That feels like a foundational move to have like 4 super 4 defensemen you're super duper excited about. Or 5, as Dan B says. You don't want to overlook Johansson, because he has gotten better seemingly every game. Matt, are you back with us?
Yeah, it's horrible that we were about to sign off and now we had to. Oh, we forgot to do. Shoot. Forgot to do ads again. Sorry, guys. All right, we got to do an ad real quick and then we'll sign off. So enjoy your ad and we'll see you guys.
Jesus.
Spinoramas, Michigan goals, and those heart attack Cam Talbot sprawls across the crease. If you're living and dying with every Red Wings highlight like we are, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're an official sports betting partner of the NHL, and they're making the action even sweeter. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Yes, the same feeling as watching Lucas Raymond pick a corner, but for your wallet. So do what we do every game night. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-7897-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager. Tax may apply. In Illinois, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
We're still getting fired. All right. See you guys.
See you guys.